All right, I want to show you something that was the case seconds before the market formally closed. Yesterday, again, seconds before the 4 p.m. Eastern close, the Dow was down in excess of 1,000 points. It made up just a teeny bit of ground, still down 981 points when all was said and done. That was the worst single-day performance for the markets under Joe Biden. You'd have to go back to October 2020 to see such a loss. Fifth week in a row we've seen stocks swoon. What's really going on here? The catalyst seemed to be fears of a big backup in interest rates. One putting it at the odds of the Federal Reserve not only increasing rates half a point next month, but maybe as much as another 3/4 of a point the month after that. Steve Moore is with us. Danielle DiMartino Booth is with us. Danielle, the idea of rates going up that much and the Federal Reserve being that aggressive obviously unnerved these guys. Should they be unnerved? Is he going to be that aggressive?
Well, I think that the market right now is interpreting a major policy error has already been done. The Economist magazine started out yesterday by saying why the Federal Reserve has made a major mistake on inflation. These are never the headlines that you want to see, but it does appear that the United States is slowing. The economy is slowing at the same time that we have raging inflation and clearly a central bank that is asleep at the switch.
Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I think that's exactly right. Neil, if you go back 14 months ago, when Trump left office, we had a 1.5% inflation rate, and now 14 months later, we're at 8.5%. I mean, that's an incredible slide, and it's in a large part, in my opinion, because of this runaway spending. So yes, the Federal Reserve Board has to raise rates, no question about it, to suck some of this excess money out of the economy. But let's not forget, there's a big fiscal component to this. We have to start cutting government spending because that's really in my opinion, the match that lit this forest
Steve,
fire.
That never happens. That never happens. It didn't happen under your old boss, and it's not happening under this boss. That never happens under any boss. Maybe say the last year or so of the Clinton administration, right?
Neil, I know that,
right.
But I'm telling you what they should do, not what they're going to do. And look, if you don't start getting some of this excess spending and debt out of the economy, it's going to be really difficult and painful to deal with an inflation problem that, in my opinion, is getting worse. It's not getting better.
You know, it might get better, Danielle, and we kind of teased it with what's going on in China, and I didn't want to leave people hanging on that, but they've actually had a real slowdown going on, owing in large part to shutting down Shanghai, a big, obviously industrial center. But the spillover effect is sapping Chinese demand, Chinese activity, and the betting seems to be it will put a lid on how high oil prices go, maybe how bad inflation gets. Do you buy that?
Well, demand is certainly...
First, Danielle. Go ahead, Danielle.
Demand has certainly taken a serious drubbing in China. We forget that before the pandemic hit, that Chinese growth had slowed down to a 3-decade low. They've reverted back to that path. And by the way, you mentioned we've got midterm elections coming up here in the United States. Xi Jinping has an election of his own coming up in November with the 20th People's Congress, trying to get that third term. So all of the stimulus money that they're going to be spending in China is going to be directed internally, domestically. So unlike 2016, when China was able to buy up a whole bunch of commodities around the world, they don't have that capacity and capability right now. So yes, China is definitely going to be going to help slow growth, slow the inflation on a global level.
Steve, if I could switch gears, I just want to pick your brain on this. You're very close to Donald Trump still. The major Republican players, this dust up over Kevin McCarthy and the January 6th, assault on the Capitol, where he is reportedly heard on tape criticizing the president. I've had it with this guy. Said a few days after that event that Trump was to blame, quoting him now, for this storming of the Capitol. I don't know if President Trump has responded to that or talked to Kevin McCarthy since. Do you?
I do not. I did just see the president 2 days ago at a big Heritage Foundation gathering and had some time to talk to him privately. I'll tell you this, I do think Donald Trump is not going away. I was more convinced than ever that he is running for president, Neil. He gave a great presentation on all of his economic accomplishments and all of the things that Biden has done wrong. I mean, you were just talking about China and Russia. You know, we weren't so dependent on China and Russia Russia. When Trump was president, we didn't have to deal with the Russian oil and gas. We were producing it all here at home. And I think Trump is very frustrated about how much things have faltered in the last 14 months.
So it's your sense, Steve, that he's going to run again. And the reason why I do mention the Kevin McCarthy issue is, if the Republicans take control of the House, he would presumably be their next speaker unless Donald Trump stepped in and said he's not a guy you want as speaker. Do you know anything about their relationship at the time you guys met? Had any evidence of these tapes come out yet?
I do not know much about the relationship. I'll say this, though, again, having been in politics for 30 years, sometimes you just have to, even if you don't like somebody, you got to get along with them if you want to make progress. If Trump is the next president, and that could be the case, and you're right that it looks like Kevin McCarthy is going to be the Speaker of the House, they better learn how to get along.
All right, well, he doesn't get along, obviously, with Mitch McConnell. That's why I wonder in this case. But you think that maybe they're over this? Kevin McCarthy discussed this with him? But you wouldn't know, and that never came up in your conversation.
I'll just simply say this. Every day that Joe Biden is president, Trump's presidency looks better.
All right, final word on that subject. I want to thank you, Steve. I want to thank you, Danielle, very